about dividing where we will have remainders. So we can look at the question 1269 divided by 6. Now first of all, we should know that every number in the 6 times table is an even number, so this is going to give us a remainder because we've got an odd number as our dividend. So our dividend is what we've got as our total, and our divisor is 6. We're dividing by 6. So you can see with the worked example there that there are, if we're dividing 1000, we can't make any groups of 6 in 1000 into the 1000. So then we would exchange that 1000 into 1000. So now we've got 1200. So then we can get 2 groups of 6 in 1200s, and 1 group of 6 in 610s, 1 group of 6 in 9 ones. But then we've got 3 ones left over, which you can see are not coloured in blue, so they become our remainder, and we would write that as an R3 to say we have 3 left over. How we calculate remainders, but the most important thing is that we understand what they mean and how they work. So for example, if we had a chocolate factory which was making chocolate eggs, and let's say they made 3,208 chocolate eggs, and they pack them in trays of 6. So if we wanted to know how many trays were needed, we could divide our dividend, which is 3,208, by our divisor, which is 6. Now if we use the bus stop method, that would give us the answer of 334 remainder 4. So how many trays are needed? Well, we've got 334 whole trays, but then we've got that remainder 4. Well, we will need a tray for those 4 eggs, it just won't be full, so we will need 335 trays in total, sorry. But the next part of the question says, how many full trays will the factory produce? Well, we'll produce 534, because that's how many full groups of 6 we have, but because then we had the remainder 4. So how many more eggs will be needed to fill up the final tray? Well, if we've got the remainder of 4, that means we'll need 2 more eggs, because our divisor, this is 6, so we've divided them into groups of 6, or groups of 6. So if we've got 4 left over, we'll need another 2 to make, and then if we had another 2 eggs, then we would have another group of 6, wouldn't we? So that's how we can use remainders to help us solve problems and answer questions. Verdant is an adjective to describe something which is very green. It's linked to the French word vert, which means green. One thing that lots of people find tricky, which is going to be really important when you're writing about yourself, is whether to use I or me in your writing. So today we're going to focus on knowing when to use I and when to use me. So we use I when you're referring to yourself as the subject of the sentence, so when you are doing the verb. So you need to be able to spot what the doing word is, or the being word is. So for example, I play tennis. You are the person playing tennis, so you'd use I. But you use me when you're referring to yourself as the object of the sentence. So when you're not doing the verb, when you are the receiving, on the receiving end of a verb usually, so you're not actually doing it. So for example, can you hear me? So you're talking, so the other person is doing the hearing and you're asking them a question. So there's some examples here. So Billy and I are twins because Billy and I, that phrase forms a subject of the verb to be, so therefore I should be used rather than me. So it's not Billy and me are twins. Another example would be the dog followed Billy and me. That one is correct because the dog is doing the following. So you're not talking about yourself as doing the verb. So we use myself when you're doing something to yourself. So it's when you are kind of giving and receiving in the same time. So I covered myself in sun lotion. So you are covering, you are doing the covering, but you're also covering yourself. And for example, I ask myself a question. So you're doing the asking and you're also doing the answering. So myself So then you've got a task to look at those sentences. Would you use I, me, or myself in those sentences? You should use each of those words 5 times if you're correct all the way through.